Hey, what's up, Spooky fam? I already filmed this video once and it ended up being almost 40 minutes long, but me, because it's something I would do, I deleted the entire save in which I had almost the entire video edited. So instead of just editing that footage again, I'm going to refilm the video. Also, considering the fact that the other one was almost 40 minutes long, I'm going to try and condense a lot of this. I'm not going to talk too much about movies that I've already seen, and I'm going to kind of try to breeze through things I don't think are worth talking about. But in saying that, if you enjoy this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more, check out my main channel for reaction videos, check out my Letterboxd to see what I am watching every month. I've already watched so many movies this month. Oh my goodness. It's only the 16th and I think I've watched almost 20 movies. So we're gonna have another long video next month, but let's get right into this. Before we start, I will just preface this by saying I watched quite a bit of shows in the month of October. I finished Sons of Anarchy. I watched season 4 of The Chef Show, season 4 of Jack Whitehall's Travels with My Father. I watched The Haunting of Bly Manor and season 1 of Eli Roth's History of Horror. Okay, on to the movies. On October 2nd, lucky enough to see Possessor in the theaters. I know things are kind of sketchy right now due to the pandemic, but where I am, theaters are open for now. And when I went, things were very clean. I went to like the latest showing, so there was nobody in the theater. But it really made a big difference in how much I enjoyed. Like, I loved this movie the first time I saw it, but seeing it on the big screen and hearing all, like, the sound design was just so beautifully done. So I love Possessor and I cannot recommend it enough to you guys if you enjoy body horror. On the 4th, I watched a documentary called Dick Johnson is Dead, and like I said in the first video that I filmed for this, I would kind of describe this movie as the embodiment of Live, Laugh, Love. It is just such, like, it deals with very sad themes and it's pretty sad, but like by the end of it I was happy crying and it was a beautiful documentary. On the 5th, I got YouTube Premium just so I could watch This Is Paris, the Paris Hilton documentary. I've always loved Paris Hilton, and like learning a lot about her through this, I kind of appreciate her a lot more than I did. Like, I've always known This Simple Life had to have been scripted, but like just watching this, I appreciate her as a person a lot. Say what you will, but I love Paris Hilton. I also love YouTube Premium. On the 8th, I watched arguably the better Truth or Dare movie. This one came before the Blumhouse movie, and at this point I'm just convinced that Blumhouse steals ideas from people who make great movies and rips the premise off and repackages it as a shitty Blumhouse movie. And I'm very biased because Blumhouse produced a couple of my very favorite movies, which they flaunt on every one of their DVD covers. On the 9th, I rewatched The Wave with Alex. I will leave his channel down below. I am pretty sure his video will probably be up before mine. But The Wave stars Justin Long and Chibs from Sons of Anarchy. And rewatching it, I noticed him because I had never seen Sons beforehand. So, like, it just made the movie so much better for me. But I love Justin Long and I'm kind of biased because I will watch anything that he's in. Speaking of, this month I rewatched Drag Me to Hell. I appreciate that movie so much more. As an adult, like when I was younger, I hated it. I think I saw it before I saw any of the Evil Dead movies, so I didn't really appreciate what Sam Raimi had to offer. So watching it now, I really enjoyed Drag Me to Hell. And then on the 10th, I was hanging out, dyeing some hair, having a girls' night, and I rewatched Don't At Me At All. I rewatched The Babysitter Killer Queen for the 3rd time. I really enjoyed that movie, and you know what? It was getting closer to Halloween. It was a perfect Halloween watch. I don't care what you guys say. I think it's a really cute movie. And then directly after, we watched Goosebumps 2. I gave it a 1. I did not like that movie. I thought it was... As a fan of the original Goosebumps, I just don't like the new Goosebumps movies. On the 11th, we watched Love, Gaspar Noé's Love, and it's a movie. It's definitely an experience. Don't watch it with your kids in the room, please. Thank you. Don't even let your kids know about this movie. I enjoyed it though. I thought it was like it's an incredibly emotional story, but it's graphic. And then also so that would have been like, I watched it at midnight into like after midnight on the 11th going into the next day, because I remember waking up the next morning on the 11th and watching a movie called All Light Will End, and it was possibly one of the worst movies that I've seen lately. I don't normally give movies a 1, or like, I think the lowest I would give a movie is like a 2, because I don't really hate a lot of movies, but I gave quite a few movies a 1 this month, so yikes. But yeah, that movie was garbage. Later on that day, I watched The People Under the Stairs for the first time. I will leave my video linked down below because I've already reviewed the whole movie. I enjoyed it more. I was so afraid to watch it, but I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. And another movie I enjoyed a lot more than I thought I would have. On the 12th, I watched Scare Me on Shudder. Oh my goodness, this movie was so original and so fun. And holy fuck, it is snowing. It is snowing. There is massive snow chunks coming down from the sky right now. That is scarier than any of the movies I watched this month. Last month now, because it's November 16th as I'm filming this video. Anyways, Scare Me, I highly recommend this movie. It just had such a fun premise, and it was such a great Halloween watch, honestly. I really, Shudder has been knocking it out of the park lately. I watched another great movie on Shudder tonight, called Are We Not Cats? It was, like, in my opinion, it was pretty good, but it was kind of yucky, so like beware. It's about people who eat hair. Of course that's something I would watch. Moving on the 16th, I rewatched Holidays, and I skipped the Christmas segment because I will be reviewing that for my Christmas horror movies in December. And then on the 16th, I rewatched American Psycho. That was just an obligatory. You just gotta watch that one every once in a while. Also on the 16th, we watched Totally Under Control, and that was also an experience. It's about the current pandemic that's going on, and it's just kind of alarming, informative, makes you feel like you need to have a bath in Lysol afterwards. Also on the 16th, we watched Nocturne, and I know in my review I said that the final 60 seconds of this movie was better than the entire movie, and I would still have to agree with that, because I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would, because so many people were like, yeah, it's gonna be like Whiplash, and it's gonna be like Black Swan kind of premise thing. Don't ever compare that movie to Whiplash ever again, okay? If you know me, you know that I love Whiplash. But yeah, I didn't like that one. It was okay, but it's not one that I would revisit. But one that I would revisit, on the 17th, I watched a movie called Lyle on Shudder, and this is what I mean by Shudder is like knocking it out of the park with having amazing movies on it. I've been watching so much Shudder lately, but this movie, Lyle, stars Gabby Hoffman, and she carried this movie on her back. This movie had very Rosemary's Baby vibes, culty, pregnancy, very creepy. Loved it. It's only an hour and 2 minutes, I believe it was. Let me double check that. I remember it being so short. 65 minutes, so an hour and 5 minutes long. So it was a very short movie. If you guys like cult related movies, if you guys like movies kind of in the vein of Rosemary's Baby, definitely check this one out. Gabby Hoffman was so fantastic, and then I'm pretty sure that she was Adam Driver's sister in Girls. I can't ever rewatch Girls. That show fucked me up. But also on the 17th, I rewatched Dogtooth by Yorgos Lanthimos, and I rewatched that because I am patiently waiting, more like impatiently waiting to watch his new short, Nimic, and I've been hearing about it for so long, and I love Yorgos so much, so like, give me new Yorgos. Also, on the 17th, we watched a movie, one of my favorite anthologies, called XX. It is an anthology for short horror films by female directors, and I think it is so well done. There is one short called The Birthday Party, and it is my favorite out of the 4. It has Sheila Vand in it, and I am a big Sheila Vand fan. She was also in Southbound, if I'm not mistaken. So she was in 2 anthologies that I watched this month. But also on the 17th, we watched The Fly, rewatched The Fly, and yeah, as an adult, I watched that when I was very young, and I don't really, I didn't remember a lot of the premise. Like, I did, but like, not a lot of the gore. Like, so when he was, because I probably watched the movie when I was, I would say, 11 or 12, and that is at a time where I would have covered my eyes when any of the nasty shit happened. But so when he was like popping off his fingernails, I was definitely caught off guard by it. Anyways, another movie I was caught off guard by is Vivarium, and I did a whole review on it. I will leave it linked down below, but I will just say that I was I was shocked because I thought it was just going to be a basic time loop movie, but there's a lot more like meaning behind it. I just watched Let Me Explain's video. I love Let Me Explain. Arturo, I watched his video just before filming this on Vivarium, so that movie is like really fresh in my mind right now, and the themes are just so, you gotta dive deep on that one. Okay, on the 19th, I watched a movie called Crash by David Cronenberg. Watched quite a bit of David Cronenberg this month, but I watched this one because Alex watched it without me a little while ago. Thank you very much, knowing that I would enjoy this one a lot. So this movie was also an experience. This one was quite graphic, but I loved it. I loved every bit of Crash. I gave it a 4.5, and you know what? I'll probably rewatch it eventually and give it a 5 because I will appreciate it that much more. Another movie that I appreciate a lot, Piercing, I watched on the 20th, which I've already rewatched because I loved it so much. Piercing was just, it was so great. I love Christopher Abbott and I love Mia Wasikowska, so to see them together, they did such a great job with this film. They say a line midway through the movie and they wrap the movie up with the same line, and I fixate on that. I can't stop thinking about how fantastically done that movie is. That a word? Am I portraying this correctly to you? It was so beautifully done, in my opinion. I like yucky stuff. Another beautiful movie, in my opinion, which I gave a full 5 stars to because I feel like it fully deserves it, Kajillionaire. And I was just watching the Cars Cast movie cast. If you guys, I don't know if you guys watch Karsten Runquist, but his podcast, Cars Cast, they watch a movie every week and discuss it, and this week it was Kajillionaire, and I am so happy to have like Kajillionaire bless my life. This movie like changed me. Like, I felt things watching this movie that like when Evan Rachel Wood's character, there's a scene in this movie where she like dances it out and she just thrashes a little bit. I was like, oh my god, that is me and I relate, and that's dance it out, girl. You know, I'm gonna cry thinking about that movie because it was so good. Also, like, the LGBT representation in that movie is amazing. It just, chef's kiss. Wow, I didn't think I gave anything less than a 1 star, but on the 22nd I watched a movie called The House of the Witch, which was heavily requested to me by Netflix, and I put it on, watched maybe 25 minutes of it. It was a trash fire. It was literal garbage, and I gave that one a 1/2 star because I didn't think it deserved anything more than that. The laziness in that movie was disgusting. Remember, all of this is my opinion, by the way. And I'm saying that before I tell you that I loved Hubie Halloween so much. By the end of that movie, I was bawling my eyes out. It was Shaq, that scene with Shaq and the girl that plays Dabby in Disjointed, a show that got canceled way too soon. The best scene in the movie. I don't even, they had the best chemistry together. And I just, okay. I started watching Hubie Halloween because my mom was like, we watched it, me and your dad watched it, it was so cute, you have to watch it. And like, and then I finished it and it was good. Another movie that surprised me, that I cried by the end, Borat's subsequent movie film we watched on the 23rd, and it's another one that I would say is an experience. There's one part specifically, it's like, it's not really a spoiler, like, because I'm not gonna go too far into it, but there was one part where Borat's daughter eats a cupcake and there's a little plastic baby on the cupcake and she swallows it, and the way that she's like choking on it, she was like, I swallowed the baby. It sent me. I was rolling. Like, that shit was so funny to me. I really enjoyed that movie, and I'm so glad that I got my parents to watch it as well, because they were kind of shocked by the Rudy Giuliani bit. Ooh, yikes. And then directly after Borat, we watched Rebecca, which was, I'm still a little conflicted by it. The acting was great. It was a beautiful movie, but it just felt a little, like, it didn't feel as long as it was, but it just didn't feel like, I don't know, it didn't feel, it felt like it could have been more of a horror movie if they just made it a little, I don't know, they just missed the mark on that one for me. Even though it was interesting, it just, I feel like it could have had more horror elements in it. Okay, on the 25th, I finally watched Southbound, another incredible anthology, and this one, the way that it starts and ends and just kind of like wraps all the way around, another chef's kiss. You guys, I really recommend Southbound. Some of the most interesting creature designs I've seen. I loved it. On the 25th, also, you can always tell which days I'm off. I usually watch about 4 movies whenever I'm off, but on this day, 25th, I watched The Autopsy of Jane Doe for the first time, which I really enjoyed. I had been hearing so much about it this season, or this Halloween season, I should say, and I hadn't seen it yet. But I had heard so many people say it's a witch movie, and I was always thinking to myself, how are they going to make it a witch movie? And then I saw, I don't want to like spoil anything in case you guys haven't seen this movie, which I'm sure a lot of you have, but it was so cool, and I think that movies, when they are like in one setting, they have to pack a punch, and they have to like give you a really good, meaningful story, and this definitely did. Also on the 25th, I watched Tom Segura's Mostly Stories, and there's a couple of jokes that hit me really good, like the bikes that really got me good, but I am hit and miss with Tom Segura comedy. I am a big fan of Bert Kreischer. Oh, that is another show that I watched this month. In October, you guys, I watched Bert Kreischer's The Cabin. I really enjoyed that show. That show was really funny. But back to Tom Segura. Yeah, there was a couple of comedy specials that I put on and turned off because I didn't like them and I couldn't get into them, but this one was okay for me. I didn't mind this one. And then also on the 25th, I finally watched Contracted, and I wasn't expecting this one to go the zombie route, but it did, and I'm not mad because it was very well done in my opinion. It was yucky. All right, skipping a few days to the 28th, obligatory Halloween watch, Trick or Treat. If you guys watched Trick or Treat this Halloween season, let me know. And then on the 29th, I watched Contracted Phase 2, had to wrap that one up, and now I really want a Phase 3 because I did not expect to enjoy these movies as much as I did. I actually thought Phase 2 was better than Phase 1, and that's my opinion. I saw some of the reviews saying that like phase 2 wasn't as good, and if you didn't watch them back to back, they weren't going to make sense, but I thought it was great. On the 29th, Alex, how have you never, like, I don't understand how he had never seen Splice up until this day. Like, hello, that's a great movie. You know that I like yucky things and weird shit, and Splice was a movie that in high school I fixated on, so I was really happy to rewatch that one. And on the 30th we watched Bad Hair, which I personally loved. I went to beauty school, so I would let the girls do whatever they wanted to my hair, even if that meant braiding in crazy extensions, doing crazy braids. So watching like the girl in the movie get her weave sewn in was hard to watch, because there have been so many times where girls were learning how to do things on my scalp, and I have a tender scalp, okay? So just like the amount of times where like a needle had like grazed my scalp, because extension needles are curved, so like they're meant, but like them bitches were grazing my scalp, you know? So like I was really cringing hard watching Bad Hair, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was quite an original premise, and it was so nice to see some more representation. Okay, on the 31st, we're already at the end of the month. Okay, whew, that was a shorter video than the last one. Texas Chainsaw 3D, let me talk about that one for a minute, because all that movie did was make me feel empathy for Leatherface. That movie gave me nothing of value. I hate Trey Songz in that movie. I hate the fact that he used his own music, and he was like dancing to his own music in that movie. Like, why? Who let this man do that? And the fact that like the one scene near the end of the movie where Alexandra Daddario's character like tosses Leatherface the chainsaw was like, get him cuz, like so fucking cheesy. I couldn't stand it. Oh my, all it did was give me sympathy for poor Leatherface. That's all. Had to, after that, cleanse myself, revisited Creep. Creep is an amazing movie. I could talk about those movies forever. I absolutely, like, in Creep 2, revisited that one this month, forgot about the full frontal male nudity. Like, good for you, Mark Duplass. But no, Creep, I've always loved Creep. So like, if you haven't seen, by the off chance haven't seen Creep, I think it's one of the best found footage movies because of the end jump scare. When he scares himself, like that makes the whole movie worth it for me. Okay, ended the month on Rabid by David Cronenberg. So this one, I had different expectations for going into it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun little movie to watch on Halloween. We watched the Soska Sisters Rabid on the 9th of this month of November, and I had always, like, I have it on DVD, so I had seen what Rose looked like in the new Rabid, so I was kind of waiting for that in the older one, but I think I would have liked the older Rabid if I didn't know if I didn't know the new one existed, you know? But either way, it was a fun movie to watch on Halloween, and I'm really happy that we ended the month of October with David Cronenberg for Halloween, so that's pretty cool. Okay, so that was kind of a long video. Thank you guys for sticking with me. If you guys have seen any of these movies, let me know. Don't forget to follow me on Letterboxd. I will follow everyone back. I always do. Yeah, check out my main channel for reaction videos. We are going to start doing oh my god, we are going to start doing Christmas horror movie reviews for the month of December, so I hope you're excited about that. Alex and I are watching The Lodge tomorrow for my first time, and I'm really excited about it. So yeah, let me know what you guys have watched lately. I'm curious about it. Sorry about the late upload. It is like more than halfway through the month as we are uploading this, but whatever. At least it's up. Yeah, so I will see you soon. Sayonara, Spooky fam.